Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rakakwadash, double honors to the elders and apostles of great Nelson of well. I am not a member, however, I've entered into their labors. Peace and mercy to the sincere brothers and sisters doing this wherever you are, whatever the lie may be. This is kind of long here, 25 minutes. So we're probably going to have to split this into 2, maybe even 3 parts. I'll probably say 2. I'm going to do as little interrupting as I possibly can. And with that being said, what we're going to do here is open up with a scripture that I said in my last video that I'm going to probably say every time. With the 2 ones that I'm going to say every time is this one, Jeremiah 49:10, and Revelation 13:16. So let's read here. But I've made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. NLT, I will strip bare the land of Edom. And remember, just as Jerusalem is a people before it's a place, the same thing goes for Edom and their head tribe, which we will be a representative from their head tribe here. Okay? Alright, and there will be no place left to hide. Its children, its brothers, its neighbors will all be destroyed. Edom itself will be no more. And that's a future prophecy that after that 1,000 years where they will be undoing the mess that they've made here. Okay? So, let's go. Before we start, if any of you are over the age of 30, or if you've seen one of the classic movies, Dodgeball, this is a textbook example of a verbal 5 Ds, right? And we'll probably call it that. We'll call it the 5 Ds of Dodgeball on this one. Fair use on that. So the movie is called Dodgeball, True Underdog Story. And as they're training, one of their trainers tells them, there are 5 Ds of Dodgeball: dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge. And that is everything that they do when they're being interviewed, when they're asked real questions of, when they have to take accountability. And you see, this is a modern woman level deflection, which that's where they get it from. Actually, they get it from their daddy, right? Those who run this society. So let's let this play. I will probably, I don't know how long we'll let it go, just enough to get the point, and then we'll come back, Lord's will, for part 2.
Indiscriminate killing against my people. Faces a journalist who refuses to accept lies. You get an interview that feels like a public trial. Welcome to this video. What to expect: a relentless interrogation, 7 questions, 8 answers, and the slow public breakdown of the Israeli propaganda machine. The journalist is sharp, unforgiving, armed with facts, and has 0 tolerance for hypocrisy. He's every government spokesperson's worst nightmare. David Benson, spokesperson for the Israeli government, a master at repeating talking points by heart. He falls apart the moment he's asked for proof. His answers: numbers with no source, claims with no evidence, and a tone that swings between playing the victim and acting morally superior. This interview.
That is Idumean Practice 101. Alright?
Shows how language is used to justify war, because truth gets drowned in numbers, in framing, in spin, and because some people refuse to stay silent, like this journalist. You'll see Benson lose credibility, sentence by sentence, and you'll hear how every post-humane military clashes with images, data, and international law. So, watch, respond, share, leave a comment. What's your take on this? Like the video if you value truth over propaganda, and subscribe if you're done with the sugar-coated version of reality. This isn't an interview. This is an autopsy on credibility. Let's begin. What has Israel achieved through the war? Well, first things first, it's important to understand that this is not a war we wanted.
Okay, so right here, this is going to be kind of a statement analysis, I see, through the spirit. Now right here, this is the attempt to establish a given narrative. And if you play their game and stick with their narrative, they have control and they can swing it the way they want to swing it, right? But the interviewer, his name is Yama, he doesn't stick to their point. He calls them out on their bullshit. And he'll swing one way from, again, saying that he is the spokesperson of said place, and then when a question gets too heated, he will say, well, I can't speak for all. So which one is it? Okay, you fork-tongued fuck. Let's. I hate to pause it so quick. Now this is John 8:44, and he's talking to actual legitimate Israelites here, but this fits, okay, because they are of their father the devil. You are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, Cain, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it.
War shocked us. Almost everyone here knows someone that was killed on October the 7th.
Already been disproven.
Of those military battalions, there are still 4 in Russia. You claim that you've destroyed 18 Hamas battalions. What is the proof of that? So the proof is from the battlefield itself. We know the number of Hamas and Islamic Jihad terrorists that we've killed. We know we've killed at least 13,000 terrorists, armed terrorists. Remind you, killed 13,000 terrorists because they were firing at us.
They were firing at us. Could it be? And this is another going narrative here. Okay, you invade a land. Said person, hypothetically speaking, said people invade a land, and we're not going to mention who, and then they call you a terrorist. They call you the aggressor because you are defending your living space, your land. If somebody ran in your house, why would the person defending their home be the aggressor, right? And this is something you see over and over and over. There's nothing prolific. There's nothing changed. This has been the same script over and over, except that covering cast have been lifted off the people. We'll get that in a second. I just want to keep this rolling.
This is a verifiable fact, according to you. I don't say that we have their lists. I don't say we have their names, but we have killed 13,000 combatants. Yes, but it's just a number, Mr. Minister. It's just a number. We have never seen any concrete proof of this number. So I'm a spokesman for this government. I'm a spokesman for this government and the Israeli people. And I'll tell you right now that we have killed 13,000 terrorists. We have executed the gold standard when it comes to firing and directing our war at the terrorists and getting civilians out of harm's way. We have no problem with the people of Gaza. We want them to have a better future, but we need to get rid of this genocidal, murderous organizations.
Projection. Projection, projection, projection. That is what they've done it with Jake, and they do it with these other heathen nations that they want land. You have to dehumanize them, never calling them people, but calling them T organizations, okay, and making them out to be animals, when in reality, the people that are hurling these accusations are the ones that actually fit that actually fit right here, this thing right here. Okay, but again, I said I think it's Isaiah, and it may not even fit. Let me make sure. I think this is what I'm looking for. Song of Praise, 25, for thou hast been the strength of the poor, needy in his distress, refuge in the storm. Okay. Thou shalt bring down the noise of the stranger as the heat in the dry place, even the heat with the shadow of a cloud. The branches, or the branch of the terrible ones shall be brought low. Okay. I think this is it. Let me just read it. And in this mountain shall Yahweh of hosts make unto all the people a feast of fat things, feast of wines on the lees of fat things full of marrow of wines, on the lees well refined. Good grief, that was a tongue twister. The point was in 7. I may have to get it in the NLT. I want to make sure this actually fits. And he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all the people in the veil that is spread over all the nations. Okay. Let's read 5 through 7 in the NLT. 4. Yes, okay. Shelter the heat, for the oppressive acts of ruthless people are like a storm beating against the wall. Yep, okay. Will spread a wonderful feast for all the people of the world. Okay, this is a future prophecy here. Then he removed the cloud of gloom, the shadow of death that hangs over the earth. Well, I mean, yeah, these people everywhere they go, death follows. So we can liken that to what we have going on here. Okay. I just wanted to be sure before I just grabbed that scripture, because the covering cast was the first thing that came to my mind. Or the veil that was lifted, alright. Or the wine that he's put out his philosophies, and he's been able to sweet talk things for years and years now. But the Lord has put an end to that. Okay, their monthly prognosticators, right? All the enchantments that they've tried, they are failing, because it is simply time for to be exposed, basically, hand in hand with the true biblical Israelites waking up. Then the other group will be exposed.
Is what we are doing.
You say you have set the gold standard. Your critics would say Israel is waging a genocidal war, according to UN experts. Israel finds itself in the docks in the International Criminal Court of Justice, which said there is a plausible reason to believe genocide is being committed in Gaza. The EU said Israel is using starvation as a weapon against 2.2 million Gazans. It doesn't really sound like a gold standard.
It is for them. Okay, and what's the the Ishmaelite dude, the bald guy with the salt and pepper beard that goes in, Shahid, the King Bolson or something like that. He made a good point in mentioning that their morality is not the same as the rest of the entire world's definition or idea or ideal of what morality and justice is. Okay. I just happen to look to the right here. What is that? 144. Very call. Hello, Yahweh Bashim Shai. Alright, let's keep going.
So let me take those on in the question which you just asked. On genocide, I would point you to the fact that genocide was committed against my people, indiscriminate killing against my people. We the Jewish people, we recognize it, we see it. Would we be very, very clear that it's a terrible war, it's a dangerous war. We've lost 606.
Six. They love that 6. Love it, don't they? Let's put it back. And it's always an indicator. Okay. That number 6 is an indicator. Revelation 13:18. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. And you see when they come up with these wild house bills, there's always some sort of 6 in there, or there's, or when they're talking about a certain event that allegedly happened back in the 40s, of the H word, 6. Okay, I'll just say that, just a lot of 6s.
Our soldiers in this war, but this country is united on its war aims, and we will be successful because, we don't have anywhere else to go in this country. There is only one Jewish state in the entire
Mount Seir.
World. Explain to us why you're bent on moving into a Harvard course.
So the first things first on this question of Rafah, we move civilians out of harm's way. It's very much important to us. All of the battles which we fought, and they have been, it's an extremely complex military environment. It's extremely complex because it isn't urban. It's not a regular environment where Hamas fire into schools. Hamas,
There are 1.4 million
Okay, so here you go. That's how you know somebody else. That's another indicator of a bullshit artist when they argue unimportant semantics. Not that 1.4 million lives doesn't matter, but instead of it just acknowledging it, about 1 million. What does the point for it matter? That is not the argument. That is not the case at hand. As they're talking here, I'm listening, but I'm reading through these comments. So if you're having to look at this video, these are actually pretty funny. The rest of the world is clearly sharing the same sentiment.
It's a lot still. A lot of people Exactly, that's why they're there. But a military offensive into Rafah will end in a slaughter in the UN warrants. Tell us, how are you going to evacuate all these people?
in the same way that we've done in the past.
But that didn't work very well. You told them that no one was a safe zone.
And that is a fact, undeniable fact, with proof on many, many platforms, which is why they want to put their was a video I did yesterday about the straight out of the horse's mouth. That is why they want to put their digital boots on and make sure that the rest of the world has a popular opinion of them.
Are you going to follow the same formula?
Yes.
To evacuate 1.4 million.
Dodge, duck, dip, dive, dodge. And another indicator you can listen for is when people say multiple studies show, multiple sources, the experts. They never cite anything in particular that people can point to. It is just, I said so, so you should believe me. And my multiple sources. Listen when they talk.
People with white flags. Yeah. And signs being shot by Air Force. We've also seen people in so-called safe zones being bombed. So we've seen Air Forces kill people on the run from their bombs as well over the past 6 months.
So again, I would say to you that we feel we are the most humane army which has ever existed in living memory. We've done more to protect citizens' lives. Let me say,
Shot your own hostages.
right.
So where they have been wave flags at your shoulders is
An extremely terrible occurrence that was.
so how
Occurrences. It happened multiple times.
Mistakes. How are these? Where we have made mistakes, we investigate, we wait for those results, and we adjust our behaviour accordingly. That's what democracies do.
literally told a bold-faced lie. If that was the case, they wouldn't be in the hot water with the council, the UN council that they're in right now. This is insane. You all, you know, let's just.
Within 4 weeks, they demanded a ceasefire. They demanded a stop to the war. Such a resolution is legally binding for all UN members, yet no forces continue to bomb Gaza. Isn't that a clear breach of international law? Slavery. Why resolution ordering you to ceasefire? You know that the only way Israel managed to release around 100 hostages, and it was through negotiations, which paved the way for a ceasefire agreement. Yet you are continuing. Why?
We're not dealing with Norway. We're not dealing with Scandinavia. We're dealing with a genocidal, murderous organization.
There it is again. An attempt to reestablish control by setting a narrative or setting their own narrative. Okay, completely disregarding their own actions. And that is the sentiment. That's how you know that they're Edomites. Alright, you go to Genesis 27, when Esau sold his birthright, then tried to complain and lie about getting a birthright. Okay, so we'll skim over just to hit the points. Okay. Came to pass. We'll start at the top. And it came to pass that when Isaac was old and his eyes were dim, so that he could not see, he called Esau his eldest son, said unto him, My son. He said unto him, and said unto him, My son. And he said unto him, Good grief, behold, here I am. Okay. Now that's it was always ordained for Jacob. That's why it says that I am the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. There was no mistakes. So he wanted him to make the savory meat. So Esau went hunting, okay, for the venison. Rebekah spake unto Jacob, her son, saying, Behold, I heard thy father speak unto Esau, thy brother, saying, Bring me venison. Okay, and bless thee before Yahweh, before my death. So Jacob, the supplanter, went in, put on the ram skin or the ram's coat, so his father would mistake him for Esau. Right, savory meat came unto his father, said, alright, so this is Jacob, and I'm just trying to hit the points here. Okay. Wait, actually, I think it goes a little bit before. Sell me thy birthright. Is it 27? It's 25. I was too far. Too far ahead. Okay, generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. Okay. 2 nations are in thy womb. First came out red all over like a hairy garment. Okay. Alright, Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of his venison, which we read in chapter 27. Okay, 29. Jacob sought pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, Feed me, I pray thee, that the same bread pottage, for I am faint. Therefore, what's his name called? Edom. Jacob said, Sell me this day thy birthright. Okay, so that's funny that they said it was stolen. He sold it fair and square, didn't want to double back, and got mad, and then he wanted to slay his brother Jacob. And you see this hypocritical, double-minded type spirit in them even to this day in their descendants. You cannot make this up. So here we'll play. I'll let it play till the 10-minute mark, and then we'll make a part 2.
We would love to be able to settle all our differences around the negotiating table, but again and again and again, Hamas keep moving away. You know, this war could end this afternoon before the sun goes down. This war could end right now if Hamas did two things: laid down their arms and released our hostages.
More than 34,000 people have been killed in Gaza, according to the Palestinian Health Ministry. Your government rejects these figures. Why?
Would you take the figures of Al Qaeda at face value?
Look, the UN and WHO says the figures from the Gaza Health Ministry, Hamas's health ministry, are reliable, that they even passed international scrutiny in previous wars. In fact, if you look up the numbers, in the wars in 2014 and 2021, Israel's and Hamas's casualty numbers were almost identical. Why would suddenly they lie in this current crisis?
There's no differentiate between a civilian combatant, which is a tragedy, say that very, very clearly, and a terrorist. We do.
Oh boy. So you don't differentiate. That's the reason. And you can see he's getting uncomfortable, shifting in the seat, the dry lips or lack thereof, the licking of the lips, the blinking, all of these indicators of a damn liar. But you know we're going to pause it here. Okay, we'll Lord's will, we'll come back and we'll do a part 2 for the rest of this interview. This will be titled the 5Ds. So 5Ds part 1 and 2. Shalom.